Official attention, please.
We'll just have some fun with this.
I'm now officially calling the 143rd Annual Alumni Meeting to order, at least as much order as this group can muster. Okay, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll be led by Maria Casillas Romero.
You made it.
I did. It was awesome. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we'll now have the invocation from Sophia Spence.
All right, please bow your heads with me. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for letting everyone gather here tonight. As the class of 2019 prepares to move on to the next stages of their lives, we ask for your guidance amongst them. We thank you for allowing the people that work so diligently to get us to this point in our lives, Lord. As we move on to these next stages, let us remember that you are always there in times of greatness and weakness. Please bless this food that we are about to eat. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Okay, at this time, I would like to officially welcome the newest alumni class in our association, class of 2019, official welcome. And also a special greeting for the honored class, that'd be the class of 1969. Hey. We also have kind of the exciting situation 50 years later that the entire starting five of the basketball team I heard was pretty decent is here. There they are. And you can see them on the wall, little few wrinkles and hair loss ago. And now the response from the class of 2019. That's Jacob Curry.
First and foremost, I'd like to thank everyone who's able to come out tonight and support our class of 2019. Our class has managed to accomplish many things academically and athletically. Overall, I would describe our class as revolutionary. I say this because we were part of many changes in this school. We were the last class to be a part of the 6th grade middle school, and in turn, therefore, the first class to be part of the junior-senior high school as the school got renamed. We also were the first senior class to partake in Senior Life Week, which I believe was an extreme success as we all got CPR certified, learned a lot of life skills such as changing oil and basic first aid. As well as this Senior Life Week success, we won many awards athletically. Some of these girls sitting here today were a part of the tremendous state run that they went on in 2017. Some of our guys here helped win Baseball County for the first time in 29 years, and then we did it again last year, as well as adding on a sectional title. Our football program seen a huge turnaround this year, making it to the sectional championship for the first time in over 20 years. Our senior, Jacob Bradbury, won county in tennis for the first time county was offered in tennis. And Josh Crawford, sitting here today, actually won the BSN Sports State Athlete of the Week. As well as this award, we have some of our students who are going to continue their athletic career at college, with Reagan Hoggett attending DePaul University to run cross country. Now, other than sports, we were also very successful academically. We had 2 of our ladies make the top 10 for the Lewis Scholarship, and then one of them, Reagan Hoggett, made it all the way to the top 5. Our seniors also got to take part in something very special, as 2 of our seniors got their welding licenses over there at Winchester. And several of our other seniors got to partake in the wonderful program they have over there at Muncie and the MACC to learn skills in the trades. As our class moves forward to the next chapter in our very young lives, I'd like to wish each and every one of my classmates good luck in their future endeavors. Whether we don't see each other ever again, or we all come close together again, the class of 2019 can always count on each other. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone, a part of the alumni, for coming out tonight, and wish to see you when I'm sitting here one day. The one thing that we can all take away is that even though Union City may be small, the bonds and roots that grow here last forever. Goodbye, class of 2019. Go out and do what makes you happy.
Well, thank you, and the class of 2019, really, they don't know this is coming, but ladies and gentlemen, we're going to ask that each of you introduce yourself and what your future plans are. Okay, we're going to put the mic around here. I'm just going to second something that Jacob said about this class being revolutionary. I also think they're probably the first class to run a principal off after January to be the superintendent and replace him mid-year. So another revolutionary task completed by the class of 2019. Great job, guys. Yeah, you were very effective in that. So with that, I'm going to send the mic around the table here. They will stand and introduce themselves. If we could just hold our applause until they all get through, we'll give them a chance, give you a chance to put some names with faces. Go right this way.
I'm Alex Bragg, and I'm going to Indiana Wesleyan to major in social work.
I'm Jacob Moore, and I plan on being a firefighter in EMT.
I'm Ben Bagosi, and I'm planning on going in the workforce.
I'm Nicholas Woodbury, and I plan on going to Ivy Tech.
I'm Jonathan Miller, and I'm going into the workforce.
Okay, hold the mic right here. I get to embarrass this young man because he is my nephew, and he and the young lady right next to him are getting married tomorrow, so that's a cause for celebration.
I'm Zachary Atkins, and I'm serving in the United States Army.
I'm Rachel New, and I plan to be a dental assistant.
My name is Madison Fisher, and I plan to go to IU East for nursing.
My name is Caitlin Sheets, and I am attending Duplin Ivy Tech to get my degree in nursing.
I'm Megan Clemens. I plan to attend Ball State.
I'm Peyton Jenkinson, and I plan to attend Ball State to major in English education.
I'm Emma Brewer, and I plan to attend Ball State to major in secondary English education.
I'm Bailey Hunt, and I'm going to Paul Mitchell Cosmetology School to become a licensed cosmetologist and makeup artist.
I'm Madison Ty Jones, and I plan to go to IU East for nursing. I'm Abigail Crowder, and I plan to attend Indiana University to major in communications.
I'm Gavin Teeter, and I plan to attend Indiana State University to major in professional flight technology.
I'm Kelly Burton, and I plan to pursue a career in farming.
I'm Wes Moat, and I plan to enter the workforce for welding.
I'm Brian Moat. I plan to attend Ivy Tech to study ag sciences.
I'm Ethan Neal, and I plan to join the workforce.
I'm Cameron Luster, and I plan to enter the workforce.
I'm Jasmine Ballard, and I plan to go into the workforce.
I'm Courtney Burkaw, and I plan to go to Edison.
And this here is my buddy Jacob Goodwin. He would love to be a vet.
I'm Matthew Fenton, and I plan to be a cosmetologist.
I'm Nigeria Neal, and I plan on being a nurse.
I'm Corey Weitzel. I plan to go to the workforce.
I'm Christopher Perez, and I plan to attend Ball State.
I'm Joshua Crawford, and I plan to attend Indiana State University for professional flight aviation.
I'm Antonio Carter, and I plan on pursuing welding.
I'm Mason Good, and I plan to attend Marion University to major in nursing.
I'm Maya Carpenter, and I plan to attend Sinclair.
I'm Success Brody, and I plan to attend Indiana State University to major in elementary education.
I'm Maria Zimmers. I plan to attend Ball State University to major in criminal justice and minor in Spanish.
I'm Maria Casillas Romero, and I'm going to attend Ball State to major in criminology.
I'm Braden Davis, and I plan to attend IU Bloomington.
I'm Jacob Curry, and I plan to attend Purdue University to pursue a career in law in hopes to become an attorney.
I'm Emily Bocanegra. I'm attending the University of Cincinnati to major in marketing.
I'm Sydney Ralston, and I plan to attend Purdue University and enter their exploratory studies program.
I'm Courtney Weitzel, and I plan to attend Ball State and major in applied mathematics.
I'm Carlin Sigler, and I'm going to Vincennes to study family and consumer sciences education.
I'm Amanda Willows, and I'm going to join the workforce.
I'm Stephanie Vanda, and I plan to go to IU East.
I'm Gracie Price, and I plan to go to Ivy Tech to get my degree in physical therapist assistant.
My name is Reagan Hoggett, and I will be attending DePaul University to major in communications and minor in kinesiology.
All right, I'm Sophia Spence, and I'm going to Ball State to major in business administration with a minor in public health.
My name is Jeffrey Thornton. I plan to attend Ivy Tech to major in criminal justice.
My name is Shelby King. I plan to attend Purdue Fort Wayne and major in middle school mathematics education.
My name is Juan Burgos. I plan on attending Ivy Tech College to be a physical therapist assistant.
My name's Antonio Hasso, and I plan to go to Purdue Fort Wayne to earn a degree in mathematics.
Oh, hey, what's up, all these old folks, and nice to see you guys. My name is Patrick Devon, and I plan on attending Full Sail University for digital cinematography. Sorry I called you guys old.
My name's Maverick Luster. I'm going to go to Ivy Tech to major in constructional engineering.
My name's Akili Roberts. I plan to attend Ivy Tech.
My name is Acacia Clemens. I plan to attend Indiana State University to study social studies education.
My name's Peyton Dowdy, and I plan to go into sports management.
We've got one more. He's hiding over here. Nice try.
My name is Jonathan Gershner. I plan to become an electrician.
And that is your class of 2019.
I think I would like to hire this young man over here to warm up crowds for me. Very good. Yeah, on behalf of the Alumni Association, sincere best wishes. Great to hear the plans you have, and all the best for sure. Okay, we are delighted that Jan Passmore could be here and is here. And oh, I'm not doing that one. We're delighted. How's that? First time. We're delighted that Jan Passmore can be here. He's going to introduce the next part of our program, but let's give him the belated now applause that we talked about earlier. Terrific job as our past president, 6 years running. So, Jan, thank you. She's the oldest. Right.
Is this working? I'm sorry. We're here this evening to honor our seniors, our graduating seniors, and welcome to the ranks of alumni, as well as recognize our anniversary classes. You're about to graduate from a remarkable institution, one that's been around for 143 years. I missed the first 2 years. As you seniors are set here tonight, you're surrounded by former graduates who grew up here, graduated from high school here in Union City. They've gone on to achieve success as doctors, lawyers, accountants, bank presidents, teachers, stockbrokers, artists, farmers, homemakers, company presidents, including heading Fortune 500 companies, as well as being good and loving parents. Growing up in a small town does not mean need to have small aspirations. Your expectations can soar as high and as far as your motivations and desires can reach. Life is not measured by the number of breaths you take, but the moments that take your breath. Tonight we'd like to recognize our most senior alumnus, Margaret Perkins, class of 1946. Margaret? And we have two classmates here tonight from the class of 1949, Robert Dunn and Billy Baker, 1949. We also want to recognize one of the alumni who went immensely out of his way to travel here today. Graduated from the class of 1969, Dick Robbins, traveled from Manila in the Philippines to be here tonight.
I'm now honored to introduce the speaker from the class of 1969, My brother, who knows John well, said that this might be an unexpected delight. And I'm not sure what that might mean, but we will find out. So, John Lowe.
The unexpected delight. Coach Goldsberry told me if you saw me come up here, he said, "You're not slow, Lowe, you just run too long in the same spot." As the program correctly states, my name's John Lowe, or as I was known growing up, Bill and Arlene's boy. And I abhor public speaking. And for those of you who haven't seen me for a while, I haven't gained weight, I just swell up a lot when I get nervous. I'd like to start out by thanking Kathy Bothus Schaefer for a couple reasons. Kathy contacted me 6 months ago and coerced me to speak. Now, 2 weeks would have been okay, but I've spent the last 6 months, sleepless nights, stressed out. So thanks for that, Kathy. But moreover, Kathy and her committee corralled this class of 69, and I'd like you to stand and introduce those people if you would. Please, you just stand there and yell. Yeah.
Let me start over. We have Monica Hufford Corbley and her husband Randy Corbley, both graduated with us. We have Lynn Hinesley and his wife Loretta, that's helped a lot. Let's see, who else is here? Joyce Addington Tharp and Deanna Devaney Harder. Am I missing it? Alan Stoner, he's not here. Anybody else? And Ed, my husband.
Yeah, don't forget him.
And they did a great job, and we have a wonderful turnout, and I'm so happy.
Thank you. As I was preparing these remarks, I looked back at Don Corbin's speech a couple years ago and Kathy Comer's last year, and they all recounted what was going on at that time of their graduation, gas prices, what the big songs were, the hit movies, and so forth. And I'll delve into that a little bit later. They also talked about how great it was to grow up in Union City, and we'll come to that. And I'm going to offer these in list form because I can read those. I don't have to memorize them. But Ted Leahy's here tonight, and when we had him in speech class, he suggested that sometimes it would be nice to start out a speech with a thought-provoking remark. And I'm going to do that. But Ted, if these remarks don't go well, you can disavow having taught me. I mean, feel free. Speaking of teachers, and this is an aside, I was sitting in a bar restaurant a couple years ago in Indianapolis, where I'm from, waiting to pick up carry-out for a dinner party we were having at home. And there was a young lady sitting across the bar, and I thought I recognized her. And I said, "Excuse me, are you from Union City? I think you were in my class." And she said, "I am from Union City. What did you teach?" And she was so embarrassed. She was not in our class, it turned out, but she wouldn't give me her name. She was in the class behind us. So here's a thought-provoking question. I hope you find this as interesting as I did, but you know, you graduates today are honoring us as a 50th year alumni class. When we were your age, they would have been honoring the class of 1919. That's a long time ago. My mother was just barely born then. So here's some things that happened in 1919. You'll look back on this someday. The Reds won their first National League pennant, maybe the last one they've won, and then defeated the Chicago White Sox in the Black Sox scandal. Woodrow Wilson was president. Mussolini established the Fascist Party in Italy. The Treaty of Versailles was written that ended World War I, and the League of Nations was formed. Neither of those were ratified by our Senate, by the way. The rotary dial telephone was invented. Do you guys know what a rotary dial telephone is? Okay. Daylight savings time was introduced. The first pop-up toaster was invented. This bothers me. The 18th Amendment provided for the Volstead Act and prohibition. The 19th Amendment afforded women the right to vote. 1919. First-class postage was reduced from 3 cents to 2 cents. The Communist Party of America was formed. The first scheduled passenger airplane flight from Paris to London. And for a lot of you men in here, excuse me, the Order of Demolay was founded. Okay. 1969, Woodstock, the moon landing, the Paris peace talks began, the draft lottery bill was signed, the last live Beatles concert, Purdue went to the Final Four in basketball, Mickey Mantle retired, the internet was born. The Manson murders, Robert R. was the first HIV/AIDS victim, although that was not discovered until the mid-1980s. Paul McCartney announced that he was in fact alive. This one I can't figure out. 4,317,603 people got married in the U.S. Now, how do you have an odd number of people getting married? That's what the book said. Thought it might be interesting, and again, kind of keep this in mind, graduating class, of the things that we experienced that you have not, nor probably did the class of 1919. These will ring true with a lot of you. Muscle cars, cheer block, senior chords, going steady with the Angora wrapped class rings so they'd fit the girls' fingers, Latin Club, Future Homemakers of America. This one kills me. Tan and brown class jackets and sweaters. Where in God's name, with all the palette of colors that are available, did we come up with tan and brown? Baffling. This is even better, Mr. Pryor. Dissecting earthworms. I can't tell you how invaluable that's been to me later in life. Okay. As far as growing up in Union City, Kathy and Don both talked about the bonds that are formed among classmates. We have tight bonds, but I submit that our bonds transcend just our class. A lot of our best friends are probably from the classes of 66 to 71, and we stay in touch with them. We grew up together. We got in trouble together, things like that. And I wondered why that was, and I looked at the geography of our neighborhood where I grew up. And from Willow Drive on the north to Lynn Street on the south, Plum Street on the west, and Howard Street on the east, 2 square blocks. I counted, I think with reasonable accuracy, 37 people in that, 37 kids in that 2-block area that graduated between 1961 and 1971. And probably half of us in the latter half of that, or most of us in the latter half of that. And for those of you who were aware of that geography, all of our yards butted up against each other. There was all kinds of room to play, and it was just a really tight-knit neighborhood. And if you extended the borders a little further to, say, 28 on the north and Clifford Drive on the south and maybe to Columbia Street, that number just burgeoned. And so I don't know what the geography is like here, but we were all part of the baby boomer generation. So our parents predominantly were the same age, the same demographic, and they disciplined us across the board with love and consistency. Good Lord, Mardigan and the Lions boys and Lee Yarborough and I were disciplined by every mother in the neighborhood. but without fear of any kind of reprisal or retaliation from the offended party's parents. So they raised us all. So it does take a community. Okay. So that kind of discipline and love, I think, translated in to a lot of the successes we enjoyed, and I'm like to talk about them a little bit now. You know, every class feels that their class is the best, and I'm going to continue that tradition, but I think you'll agree we did okay. So I'm going to start with athletics. Now, I talked to several of my friends about this, and we had, I believe, a spectacular group of athletes in our class. And rather than try to itemize each person's accomplishments, which would be impossible, and I would slight somebody, you know, we had sectional winners, regional winners, state tournament participants, and so forth. But rather than do that, I don't want to slight somebody, but so I do want to talk about two teams that I think deserve mention. The first one was tennis. Now, I played tennis, and I also own the podium, so I can take that liberty. But just to give you a feel for what we did from Don's class to my class, 3 years, we lost one tennis match. In 3 years, sorry, I get a little emotional about that. We had the all-conference teams at those times were made up of 5 players, and our team was the all-conference team every year we played. So all 5 players were all-conference. We won 2 sectionals, and in fact, the first tennis sectional we won, our number 1 doubles team upset our number 2 doubles team, of which I was a part, in the finals. Now this was a sectional that included all of the Muncie schools, Richmond, all of the Fort Wayne schools, and yet our number 1 team played our number 2 team in the finals, which if you think about it, it's pretty remarkable. We had 3 tennis courts in the entire town and no formal instruction whatsoever. So I think that's a pretty remarkable record. Talked a little bit about the girls. The girls, this was before Title IX, so the girls didn't really have an opportunity to demonstrate their prowess on the athletic fields. Mardigan and I yesterday went to the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame, and they had GAA trophies in there for Girls Athletic Association, which is about the extent of what they could do. So they weren't given really the opportunities that we had to excel, but there's no doubt in my mind that had they would have excelled just as well. I know our cheerleaders at that point in time won several competitions, so good for all of them. I'm going to save the best for last. We've already talked a little bit about this, and that's the basketball team. You know, I don't have any access to records, but they finished 21-2, and I doubt that there's been a team that's done that before or since. We just went to the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame, like I said yesterday, saw Mr. Goldsberry's plaque, and then went to the Newcastle Regional Gym, which is the biggest in the country, which is where our seniors lost their last game to a highly ranked Richmond team. And again, we've got our starting 5 here. And that's cool. So I think it would really been interesting if we had class basketball back then to see how we'd have done in Class 1A. So that's the athletic side of it. Now, this is directed really to you, the class 2019, because our professional successes, I think you'll see, and I hope you all will agree, were, I think, without a lot of parallel. So I'm going to read what our people have done and use this as inspiration in some small measure, I hope, for you guys. And this is in no particular order, and again, I hope I don't slight anybody if I missed you, but teachers, homemakers, farmers, contractors, referees, realtor, coaches, nurses, a doctor, a dentist, a school superintendent, a financial planner, a tennis pro, U.S. attorney. In fact, we had 2 female attorneys in our class in 1969. That's unusual. Military veterans, an advertising executive, small business owner, authors, dietitians, 3 college professors, engineers, head of an international school, that's Dick we just talked about, a TV news anchor, a politician, a CEO and company founder, artists, national food and beverage director, maker of tan and brown class jackets, and a worm dissector. And finally, last but not least, and I'm taking some liberties here, I hope you will tolerate that, was the Poet Laureate of West Virginia and a friend. But again, I own the podium. And this is Mark Harshman. Mark was a classmate, and he has agreed to recite one of his poems he thinks fitting for this event. And I hope you'll find that a treat, and it certainly should be an honor. I'll give you a very scaled down bio of Mark. Mark has degrees from Bethany College, Yale Divinity School, and University of Pittsburgh. And aside from being an award-winning poet, he's also an award-winning author of children's books. And I think, Ted, you said they're here in this library? Okay. And his poetry has been anthologized by Kent State, Iowa, University of Arizona, University of Georgia. And again, it's an abbreviated bio. So I will hope you will welcome Mark Harshman.
Thanks, John, very much. It's great to be here with so many friends and family. And I'll try to keep this brief and stay to the poem after a couple of words. Much of my life has been spent working with children as a teacher or as an author. This poem tries to capture some of that. A couple of little notes, words like little orphan and goblins should remind some of you of James Whitcomb Riley's poem, Little Orphan Annie. James Whitcomb Riley, who once painted signs right here in Randolph County. Cragen refers simply to an Irish folk tale with an elusive hare. And one school where I taught had a large population of special needs children, many strapped in wheelchairs, some of them on the spectrum, as we say today. I chose this poem because it's a school poem, and we're here this evening celebrating our years in school, and because even though those years are long ago, and we may see those years very differently from each other, I think there are things we hold in common. Some of us were up, and some of us were down, sometimes at different times, up or down, however you want to define these things, success, popularity. But I think deep down, we all shared moments of fear and low self-esteem, times of struggle and of triumph. This poem tries to get at that lowest of low, but come back up. Maybe you remember too. Well, I have to let the poem do its work. Poet in the schools. A morning with cold in its teeth, wind turning the children in circles as they waddle from bus to door. Amid the clamorous echoing of bells and lockers and the shrill bleat of the intercom secretary reciting schedules, scores, bland menus of pizza, burgers, chicken fingers, and meatloaf, these children survive. In this brick box of a school, I read them poems about Santa Claus and ice cream, the Cragen white hair, and all the ones with silly rhymes. They squirm and fidget, their bums flat on the hardwood, and smile, braces gleaming. Some of them smell, yes. Others tell without a word about their home lives. His grunge t-shirt, her thin, too short skirt, another's nervous lick eczema. I mourn for them. In the back, the troubled ones sit strapped in wheelchairs with their lolling heads rocking, frozen, ragged, or immaculate. Each wearing their differences differently, spectrum analyzed, tongues restless, eyes fixed and deep as any far universe, with moans from little nightmares the rest of us only glimpse across a chasm of luck and privilege. And after silently cursing a small prayer against genetics and certain of the easier gods, I breathe. go on and surrender to what these poems are capable of. Let the shrieking wail of goblins enter this cold gym. Thrill them with the little orphan. Let Seuss rhyme laughter with my banter. Entice them and swear to let nothing deny their deliverance from boredom into art. However defined, papier-mâché, songs, tales, poems, dancing, drums, I will not fail them. No amount of belching, farting, and whispering, no joker sailing a wad of paper or meddling teacher overreacting, no rumbling furnaces or groaning refrigerators will stop these angel words. Nothing is to deflect them. So I tell them the one about the family who lived on a mountain so high they had to keep rocks in their pockets to keep them from being blown away. And then the one about how the songs we sing will one day save us. I tell them about heroes diving for the drowned, rescuing us with stories. And now the room has gone silent. And I'm pleased, sure enough, and grateful. But then there's this smack and a different silence, an embarrassed one, and another smack, then a kind of out of sync, awkward slip slap. And I see embarrassment coming over the faces nearest me, and the slapping becomes louder, approaching assuredly some rhythm. It's the boy in the wheelchair, cream turtleneck with a necklace of paper pumpkins, and he's straightforward, head up, his eyes finding mine, and I return the gaze. Maybe we all do, and into his deep universe fall, transformed. And his rhythm solidifies into what we all recognize now. He is simply clapping. And now we are all clapping. Together, all of us, together as we should be. And I join this extemporaneous applause, knowing it's not for me at all, but for what he's found for every single one of us who's ever not been called on, who's felt hung out to dry, been picked last, been poked, tripped and toppled, lost, strung out, yearning, abused, dying somewhere out of sight in our private universes. And he has opened the rooms of paradise for us to see how simply easy it is to smile as he is smiling, to smile and smile and smile. Thank you very much. May you all go on smiling. Thank you.
A boy stood on a burning deck. No, never mind. That concludes my speaking and Mark's speaking. Thank you, Bill, to your committee for organizing this great event. To you, class 2019, 50 years is going to go fast. Enjoy it.
Thank you, John. Just in terms of how time passes, in 1989, somebody in Randolph County organized what they called the Old Timers Tournament. And this group, the class of '69, was the first eligible class. And so they played in the Old Timers Tournament over in Winchester in 1989. I was asked to play as an old timer, so I had the great opportunity to meet these guys. It was a real treat. But it is painful to think that when I was playing in the Old Timers Tournament as an old timer, you weren't born yet. That's painful to think about. It really is. Okay, we'll now have some awards that Aaron will be leading, but we have Alumni Scholarship Awards to present to the class of 2019, and he'll follow that with the Teachers Grant Program Awards. The Teachers Grant Program is in its 5th year. It was an innovation by the Alumni Association here, although greatly helped by my sister Kathy, who's over here, who as a superintendent in Brownsburg had put together a similar program. So Aaron will present both of those at this time.
Okay, gang, class of 2019, I told you that one of the greatest things about being in Union City is the love that our alumni give back, and this is one of the many ways that they do it, and that's with their financial gifts. And the Alumni Association, our purpose is to give back to the students that are here now, which is why we're doing some scholarships tonight, as well as the teacher grants. So I'm going to go through these. Students, when I call your name, if you could come forward and receive your certificate, about help one up, and then we'll give the first name away. Your certificate and your instructions for obtaining your scholarship are on the back. Our first Alumni Association scholarship in the amount of $400 goes to Sophia Spence. The Class of 1983 Scholarship Award in the amount of $500 goes to Emily Bocanegra. Another Class of 1983 Scholarship and the amount of $500 goes to Josh Crawford. Class of 1983 Scholarship and the amount of $500 goes to Reagan Hoggett. Another Class of 1983 Scholarship in the amount of $500 goes to Antonio Hasso. Class of 1983 in the amount of $500 goes to Shelby King. Class of 1983 in the amount of $500 goes to Carmen Sigler. Class of 1983 scholarship in the amount of $500 goes to Courtney Weitzel. Class of 1983 scholarship of $500 goes to Aaliyah Zimmers. Now we're into the Union City Alumni Scholarships. This scholarship in the amount of $2,000 goes to Maria Casillas Romero. Another alumni scholarship in the amount of $2,000 goes to Abigail Crowder. Alumni Scholarship in the amount of $2,000 goes to Jacob Curry. Alumni Scholarship in the amount of $2,000 goes to Regan Hoggett. Alumni Scholarship in the amount of $2,000 goes to Sophia Spence. And we do have a special scholarship tonight in the name of Bertie Teagarden. Actually, 2 scholarships in the name of Bertie Teagarden. Those alum in the room know how special Bertie was, so it's with great honor that I'm up here presenting these awards. In my day, Bertie was the book fair, or the bookstore lady. If you needed a pencil and you wanted yelled at, you would go to her to buy a pencil and get scolded at the same time. So Bertie was a little spitfire, but we loved her. But the Bertie Teagarden Memorial Scholarship in the amount of $500 goes to Madison Fisher. And the second Bertie Teagarden Memorial Scholarship in the amount of $500 goes to Sydney Ralston. Now we have the Zelma Bailey Memorial Scholarship in the amount of $2,000, and that goes to Courtney Weitzel. The Gertrude Brady Memorial Scholarship in the amount of $2,000 goes to Emma Brewer. The Harry Allison Memorial Scholarship in the amount of $2,000 goes to Emily Bocanegra. And our final scholarship tonight, also in the name of Harry Allison, and the amount of $2,000 goes to Mason Good. Okay, so this is the fun part. I'm switching mics here. We draw some names out of a hat, those that are in attendance, seniors. Your name's on a piece of paper, and I've got some gifts down here and some envelopes that I guarantee you have some green stuff in them. There's really no requirement other than being here for you to get this. I refuse to draw these names out of these because I know you guys, and you would toilet paper my house and egg me if I didn't draw your name. So I've got nothing to do with this. Mr. Corbin lives in Indianapolis, so if he doesn't draw your name, you can look him up there. Oh, look at that. Our first winner, Zachary Atkins. Next up, Mr. Gavin Teeter. We got 2 here, and I don't know if I should give this award to him after he called everybody in here old. Should we go to the next name? This is a chance to get back at him. Patrick Devin, come on down here. And
I'm sorry I called everybody old. I love all you old people.
that's the last time he gets the mic. Fooled me twice. And our next winner is Braden Davis. And Megan Clemens. Yes. Yep. Did you pull him out too? There you go.
Thank you.
Next up, Miss Bailey Hunt. Jasmine Ballard. Jasmine, come on down. Peyton Jenkinson. Peyton, come on down. How about Ethan Neal? Ethan, come on down. And last but not least, she's not even paying attention, Amanda Veloz. Amanda, come on down. Again, class of 2019, I hope you understand how much just financial support was just passed out, and that's through the help of the people that sit in this room. So I think it'd be great if the class of 2019 could give our alum a round of applause. They are pretty good kids. I didn't call for that, but they're pretty good kids. Also, the alumni or the scholarship recipients after the banquet tonight, please stick around for photos. Again, if you received a scholarship tonight, make sure you stick around for photos. Next, I get to recognize the teachers that applied for and received grants. Again, this is a newer opportunity that the Alumni Association started 5 years ago. This is our 5th year. Again, this is an opportunity for us as Alumni Association to support what happens in our classroom and honestly give back to hundreds of kids throughout their time here. The things that the teachers applied for, they kind of get vetted. They go through an application process, and those things stay in the classroom, and they benefit student after student after student. So it's a great program. Our first scholarship or teacher grant recipient happens to be my wife, Sarah Black. Congratulations. Next up, teachers, if you just want to stand and wave, I will give you your certificates when we're done, and we'll get your photo. But if you just want to stand and wave. But the next recipient is Miss Alyssa Clevenger. And Blake Clevenger. And Brad Hoggett, is Brad? There he is. And this young lady actually just completed her 25th year at Randolph Eastern. And I found a great photo from back when she started. I'm not going to bring that up right now, Miss Keel, but Becky Keel. Our next recipient is Jennifer Mayo. I don't believe Jennifer is with us tonight, but Jennifer Mayo. Also Jessica Steed. And then our high school math teacher, Miss Diane Sutter. And to show you how unique these teacher grants are, Miss Sutter actually teaches pre-calc, calc, stats, all those really hard classes. But she actually applied for sewing machines. She's going to teach students how to sew in her classroom as well. So I think that's a really cool a really cool way to use a teacher scholarship. Our next recipient actually happens to be on the board as well, and that's Miss Jennifer Vincent. Also with us tonight is Miss Nancy Whitted. We also have a couple others, and that goes to John Zakel and Gary Zimmers, who are unable to be with us. But we also have one that's kind of labeled Technology and Art Department. What we did was we had a number of teachers come to us with a request for a 3D printer, a new 3D printer for our students, and the Alumni Association was able to grant that. That's not just for one teacher, that's for a bunch of different teachers that are going to use that. So again, Alumni Association, thank you so much for your support of the Teachers Grant Program. It will be well used, so thank you.
Seniors, I don't know if you remember way back when you were at Northside, and I read a book to you about a little boy in a wheelchair trying to rescue some horses during a tornado. And I told you that that author was from Union City. And that author is Mark Harshman, who read the poem to us earlier. So it's so nice when you can get a face with a story. So thank you, Mark. The students always enjoyed the storm.
Okay, we'll now have Luana Hollowell introduce the honored classes by year. That's our every 5, well, you'll see. Okay.
Whatever it is. All right, we will start with the class of 1949. If everyone would hold their applause until the very end. You can either stand as I call your name or wave to your adoring fans. And to the gentlemen that considered us old, understand that we are your mentors. We are full of experience and love and guiding. Appreciate. We will start with the class of 1949. This will not take very long, so don't anyone go to sleep. 1949, 70 years. Robert Dunn, Billy J. Baker, if we could hold our applause until the very end. Billy J. Baker. Thank you. 65 years, 1954. Judy Blankley Shreves. 1959, 60 years. James Draper, Beverly Brummagem Flatter. Thank you. 55 years, 1964. James Douglas, Lynn Cook, Linda Anderson Hartzell, Diana Klein Harlan. 50 years, here we go. If I butcher any names, I apologize. I'm old. 1969, the honored class, Joyce Addington Tharp, Susan Moore Tinkle, Mark Wasson, Len Hinesley, Doris Shepard Howland, Judy Neff Hansen, Sue Frazier Mangus, Mike Abel, Janice Brown Franks, Mark Harshman, Deanna Devaney Harder, Marcia Kurtner Wilson Burden, Marla Goldsberry Parks, Diana Parks McClinty, Pamela Fox Griffin, John Lowe, Dirk Sturley, Randy Corbley, Monica Hufford, Kathy Bothus Schaefer, Dick Robbins, hi Dick, Sandra Mangus Seaman, Cheryl Lumpkin Sanders, Ann Dorrington Kingston, Tim Welch, Rhonda Blevins Connors, Patricia Kurtner, Bob Turner, Rebecca Sanders Turner, John Warwick, Paul Kerwin, Tim Mardigan, Terry Day, Scott Ely. Have I forgotten anyone that is not printed on this page? Okay. They have special guests. Mr. and Mrs. Kenny Ayers, Paul Bremley, Ray Fuller and Phyllis Fuller, Tom and Shirley Pryor, Ted Leahy. Okay. Class of 1979. David Williams, Steve Moore. Okay. 25 years, 1994, Gina Thompson Spence. And we go from 25 years, no one here from 1999, no one here from 2004, 2014, Evan Solwinski, Sarah Gray, Shelby Stump, Destiny Schaefer, that completes my list. We do have some requests here. If anyone moves or relocates, please contact Mary Broombaugh. And also, if anyone passes, please contact Mary Broombaugh. Have I forgotten anyone? If not, there you go.
One quick historical note. You heard the scholarships for Harry Allison in recognition of Harry. The older group of us here, the older than older people, recall that Harry Allison was the coach of the 1954 team that was the sectional winner before the 1962 team, before the powerhouse began. But anyway, Harry Allison, and that was made possible by Marv Kegris and Martha Miller, who have close ties to that 54 team. I'm going to reverse the agenda quickly, and also for the class of 2019 people who wonder, it is going to be pretty quick. We're almost done. I remember at this point in the evening wondering if it ever would be done, but it will. 5 years ago, we adopted the Alumni of the Year recognition, and our purpose in the Alumni of the Year recognition was to honor people who showed by their example, by the lives they put together, that the people can come from Union City, a relatively small town, a relatively small school, and do great things. And by great things, we don't necessarily mean lots of money, but we're talking about just making a difference in an important community. It can be nonprofit, it can be medicine, it can be national, it can be local. And so that's the idea of it, and really, again, just encouragement that good things can happen. This year, and he'll be with us at the awards night, couldn't be at both places. This year, we're recognizing David Young of the class of 1967. We'll do this very quickly, but David has quite a resume. After serving in the Coast Guard during the late 60s, Dave parlayed his military experience into an entrepreneurial career as a defense contractor. Along the way, he's built and sold 5 companies, and in the 21st century demonstrated his versatility in the fields of real estate, motorcycle manufacturing, and most recently his TV production called Toy Makers. Has anybody seen Toy Makers? Fun thing. Sunday mornings at 9. Of course, you tape it and watch it right after church. But anyway, it's Toy Makers is an exercise into just another thing. I had the chance to speak with one of the people that David helped. That's Kelsey Cross. Is Kelsey here? Kelsey. And talk about making a difference. In the time that David has been supporting Union City schools, he has contributed in the range just under $500,000. $500,000. And those scholarships have been good-sized scholarships. In Kelsey's case, the story she told me last night, it was a difference maker, being able to go to the school she dreamed about instead of somewhere else. And so he's a great example of somebody making a difference. He'll be, as I said, he'll be here for the awards night. He told me when we spoke by phone that he's now planning, and I think this is an exciting thing. This is he and his wife. Carol and I are going to broaden our giving to support the trades and focus career paths, such as nursing, that require shorter educational programs and/or apprenticeships. So again, just an outstanding person doing outstanding things and demonstrating, I think, our Alumni of the Year designation perfectly. So. Also, just a great guy. You know, one of the things I like about Union City, I'll talk in a minute, a personal thing, but we have great people here. We have common sense here. We have Midwestern values here. And as you go through life, you learn to appreciate that more and more. So he is a classic example, that humble as he could possibly be. So it's an honor to meet him just by phone so far, and I'll be with him next week. Okay, the purpose of this part of at least my talks is really just to position the Alumni Association and what we're doing, what we are trying to do through time. So it's great to be here tonight, but as we've all said, time passes quickly. You'll move on to other stages, and this is a try and a way to put that together some. It's inspired by one of the things that's inspired me, and I think it's safe to say that we are sitting here on location of a modern day miracle. And the reason I say that is for the people, some of the people, how many of us haven't been back to town for a while? Okay, those of us, or those who haven't been back to town for a while, recognize starkly that the forces, the economic forces that have influenced small town Indiana, small town in the country really, have hit home here. There's no question about it. And we're proud of the efforts that are being made to revitalize. I hope in many ways we can be part of that. but really in a way what I'm about to say is a major part of it. The modern miracle is that we are sitting in a state-of-the-art building staffed by incredible teachers and leaders and support team that is preparing our students literally to play in the bigs or to play wherever they want to play. And when you think about the adversity that is faced here in every economic sense, that is flat amazing. And I would like to just say to all the people that are part of that, Aaron and the team, just because I'll guarantee you that in alumni banquets all over the state right now, it doesn't look like this. It doesn't feel like this. It doesn't have the sense of winning and moving, and it just doesn't. So again, that is astounding. So I thought I'd do a personal story that in a way is relevant to that. In my life, I had the unexpected opportunity to go to the Harvard Business School to earn a degree. And I went to school with fellow students who had names like Reginald Van Ritswad III. And that's a joke, sort of, but not very much. It was pretty close. Many of my section mates proudly traced their roots to the Mayflower and to their Pilgrim Progress route and whatever it was. I never quite understood all that. And I actually went to school with, I was a section mate of the grandson of President Rutherford B. Hayes. So here's what I'd like to do tonight. I want to proudly trace my roots. On page 10 of the 1962 Successes is my granddad, Glenn Brandon. Some remember Glenn? Glenn Brandon was the custodian at the high school. I like to think that his spirit is somehow helpful in the inspiration of the maintenance team that does what they do here somehow, but that's my roots. And my roots also included my parents, my brother and sister, a group that were taught to dream dreams. It included lifelong friends, classmates who are still here, much appreciated. It included teammates like Jim Vincent, who is here, Rick Gattinger, who we pray for tonight. It included teachers and coaches like Kenny Ayers and Bob Dunn, Dolores and Della Rose, Walter and Jay Albert, Ruth and Willie, and the remarkable Coach Goldsberry, of course. And it even included, as I think back, the tough as nails ex-Marine Bob Shank. Bob Shank, I was a relatively well-behaved student in school, but Bob Shank, I don't know how I did this. It's the only thing I ever did wrong in study hall or in the cafeteria in my life. But I took the pinch of salt, the proverbial pinch of salt, and threw it over my shoulder. And this hand comes down on my shoulder like, holy crap. He says, Mr. Corbin, have you ever seen a person pick up salt grain by grain? So even Bob Shank. So, and my mom taught me not to brag, so I don't mean this as a brag, I mean it as a challenge. My roots and I went to Harvard and finished in the top 10% of the class. And President Hayes' grandkid finished in the bottom half of the class. So I am here to say to you, that you can do what you want to do. You are not held back in any way by this small town we're from or any part of the background and education and the roots that you have. It is terrific. So here's the challenge, though. And here we want to challenge the alumni our brand-new alumni directly for a reason that'll make sense in a minute. What I realized belatedly, just very recently, and it was helped by the discussion with David Young, who said exactly the same thing. We appreciated our teachers, we appreciated the building, but we didn't appreciate the fact that there's a whole group of people behind that scene, in effect. And it's the people who care enough to keep what we call now remembering, reaching back, and making a difference. And that group of people is remarkable. They're people that the kids are usually grown. They're in a lot of cases here. Of course, we're gone, but it's people who care enough to really make a difference. Back then we had examples. We had community people. My dad, I remember, went out door to door selling bonds that helped build the gym that we all played in the 60s. Until then, the people that played before that, it was comical where we played. So just people who reach back and make a difference. And so what I'd like to say to this class, we know that for a while you're going to not have a lot of time. You're probably going to be a lot broke for a while. So this is not about money. It's really just about remembering where you came from, appreciating more than I did, I have to admit it, appreciating more than I did, a lot of us did, the reason for the progress we had, the opportunity we had, and that it was in fact people who reached back, cared enough to make a difference. So even now, think about it. We'll be in touch by various kinds of alumni mailing. Reach back to an underclassman now who could use your help and encouragement. Thank a teacher now who, when you look back, you realize was amazingly important to where you are now. But just remember, and then when it's time, when you're in a position to, then help us make the difference that we're all trying to help in the financial progress of the school. And it's an incredible school. It's a good fight. So I'd like to thank everyone. Oh, one other thing. If you have a book with a X on it, you have the centerpiece. And other than that, thank you so much for being here and for your support. Oh, thank you for coming up.
That's not a problem.
You got it?
Yeah, I got my paper. Yeah. All right, one more thing, please, before we all leave. I'd just like to end on a prayer. So if you guys could please bow your heads and join me today. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for giving us this evening to come together as a community to celebrate the graduating class of 2019 and the alumni of Union City. We would like to thank you for providing us with so many mentors and supporters during our 4 years of high school. We ask that you give us guidance as we get ready to embark on the next part of our journey. Please be with everyone as they depart tonight, keeping them safe and out of harm's way. In your name we pray. Amen. Thank you.